Hello there. Welcome to Hear Me Roar. We're a student-run and produced show broadcasting live from inside the studios of Breckenridge Hall. I'm your host, Jordan Simonson, and I'm very happy to have you here with us this Wednesday evening. Tonight, our show is all about diversity, and I cannot wait to share more stories with you. Our guests include a student from Italy, a member of the Black Gospel Ensemble. Sean and Gabby return to answer your relationship questions, and we have a pre-produced package about the Chinese Scholars Program. All that and much more here on Hear Me Roar. Like us on Facebook and don't go anywhere. We'll be back right after this break.
I will not spin plates to make everyone happy.
I will not duck to avoid hitting the glass ceiling.
I will not stay in a small box where I cannot control my life.
I will not just stand on the sidelines and cheer the team on.
I will not carry ancestral baggage, fearful that if I lay down, there will be no purpose in my life.
I will not do something well that doesn't make me happy.
I will not speak so softly that my voice is not heard.
I will not sit at home while others experience the world.
I will not wear masks to avoid being seen fully or upsetting others.
I will not convince myself that tomorrow will suffice when it comes to following my bliss.
I will not play follow the leader unless I am the leader.
Follow your bliss.
Welcome back to Hear Me Roar. My name is Jordan Simonson, and we're here with Silvia Milantoni.
Hi.
Thanks for being on the show.
Thank you.
So now, where are you from?
I'm from Italy, a small city in the center called Iesi.
How'd you end up in America?
I was an exchange student last year in high school, so that's how I'm here today.
What are some of the differences between America and Italy?
Some of the major differences I found, the first one is definitely the school, I'd say, because it's much harder in Italy and here is much more relaxed. But I actually like it better because our professors here are more understanding to the students and they actually listen to them, so I think that's really cool. Another difference is definitely the dress code, because in Italy we really dress nice every day. You will never see a person going in sweatpants in Italy ever, so that's a big difference.
I know on our campus a lot of kids wear their sweatpants to class. When you first saw that, what was your reaction?
I didn't understand if they kind of thought they didn't have class or something. I don't know, or they woke up really late. I don't know, people would never ever do something like that in Italy, so that was really weird at first. Now I'm used to it though, so I think it's fine. People are just comfortable. And another difference that made me laugh a lot when I first got back to Italy this summer is that my friends were talking to me really close. Like our personal space in Italy is much closer. So like they speak like this far away from your face, and it's kind of weird. So I was like scooting back a lot, and they didn't understand what was wrong. But I think it's a cultural thing because I never noticed it before. But then when I went back, it was like really obvious that there was a difference there.
Do you prefer the closeness or the sort of the separation?
Well, I guess the separation, I don't know, I'm used to it more now, so I think it's better. But a big difference, which I think is actually like the biggest difference, is that people are much more affectionate in Italy. Mm-hmm. Like they show their affection a lot more. They like hug and kiss. If you leave your friends or family without a kiss on the cheek, it's kind of like really rude. So that was like a thing that I noticed when I was here first time.
Because I guess in America, our most public affection is hand-holding. Is that common in Italy, or is it?
Yes, it's really common, but I think it's more, I don't know, I guess this is the only really affection I can see here between couples, but here in America there's not a lot of affection between friends, so I think that's a really big difference.
Do you think America should incorporate some more Italian affection?
Yes, definitely. That makes, I don't know, that makes me feel more loved, and I think that's really important because that's a thing that I really miss a lot from home, the love, so yeah.
Well, Silvia, it's been great talking to you. We'll continue this conversation right after this break. Don't miss a minute. We'll be right back here on Hear Me Roar.
This is Charlie. Charlie wakes up and gets ready for class like most students. But Charlie doesn't have breakfast. Charlie feels unfulfilled. This is Nick. Nick gets up and gets ready as well, but Nick makes breakfast and feels great. Don't skip the most important meal of the day. Eat breakfast.
Welcome back to Hear Me Roar. I'm your host, Jordan Simonson, and today we're here with Silvia Milantoni, an Italian exchange student. So, what are some of the differences in a female's role in our countries?
In Italy, females are, I think they're a little bit more respected, meaning that what we say in Italy is kind of valued a little bit more than men, I'd say. And I think that's really interesting because I think that here is the contrary. Meaning, like, also in a relationship, when between a boy and a girl, the man is always, I mean, not always, but most often the kind of dominant one in the relationship. But in Italy, it's kind of the contrary. Like, if a girl doesn't want to do something, then we just don't do it. You know, so I think that's really funny. Also, in the workplace, the women are paid a little bit less than men, but I don't know, I think that in Italy it's not really that big of an issue because I never really heard about it as much. Like feminists in Italy, like everyone is a feminist, so I don't know.
So sexism isn't a big problem for you?
No, it's not a big problem in Italy, so. Yeah, we're getting out of there. I mean, it was years ago, but now we're doing better, so.
So coming to America, did you face any of those kind of negative problems as being a woman, or?
I actually, I don't think I did until now. I mean, the thing that, you know, a woman is always like flirted with, that's always a thing, unfortunately. But, you know, people talking to me just because they say I'm pretty, and that's really annoying. But, you know, I think that's something that's like this everywhere. So, but yeah, adapting is not that hard, I guess, because probably because I don't really look foreign. If you just see me and not hear me talk, it's really annoying when people make fun of my accent, and it happens a lot, but that's okay.
Have there been other problems or issues adapting?
I don't think so. Actually, the culture is not that much different. So that hasn't been so hard. I mean, the food. I know it's a cliche, but it really
is Italian or American food better?
Italian, I have to say that.
I probably agree with you.
Yes, but yeah, Italian food is a lot healthier, and even if you eat as much as you eat here, you will not gain any weight, you know.
Is it all pasta, or are there some other things?
Most of it is pasta, actually, fitting the stereotype, but it's true. But we have a lot of other things like salads and soups and stuff, which are really great. But pasta, we have like a lot of different types of pasta, so we never get bored.
Very cool. Well, Silvia, thank you so much for being on our show this evening. It's been great talking to you, and I know our viewers enjoyed hearing your stories. Don't go anywhere. There's more after this. Don't miss a minute of Hear Me Roar. Hey there! Welcome back to Hear Me Roar. I'm your host, Jordan Simonson, and for this month's show, we're talking about diversity. Coming up next, we have a pre-produced package that our producers produced for you. It's about the Chinese Scholar Program here on Morehead State University's campus, and you'll be introduced to some of the students and hear their stories. That's here on Hear Me Roar.
Hello, everyone. I'm Tan Xingyi. My English name is Tina, and I have a name in my WeChat, Ruo Shui, which means water.
My name is Wei Ming. So you can see this is my Chinese name, Wei Ming. Actually, Wei belongs to a minority in Guangxi Zhuang Autonomous Region. So a lot of people they have got their surname like me, Wei. Okay, Min means clever. So I think maybe my parents want me to be clever, wise. Okay.
My Chinese name is Mo Chen Li. In Chinese, it means morning jasmine.
Hello everyone, I'm Mary. My Chinese name is Li Mao Chang. And Li Zhu is a minority in China, mainly in Hainan province. And Mao, it means nutrition. And Chang is a given traditional name. So this is my name. Thank you. Okay, I think the life here is a kind of leisure. I like the leisure life. Yeah, and the people here go to the church every Sunday.
Yes.
Yeah, and they have a good belief in religion, and they often help each other. I like them.
I think since I have a daughter who is 17 years old, and next year maybe she has to take part in the entrance examination of university. So I think the difference, I think, maybe American high school students may have more opportunity to choose the university they like. But in China, I mean, the scores of the examination decide which university you can choose. So most of the Chinese high school students, they just need to work hard, and work hard. I don't think they have many choice. So that is not very good. But in the high school, they can learn maybe more kinds of knowledge, maybe than the American high school student, I think.
Differences between Chinese educational system and American educational system, in my eyes, is that you pay much to individualism, while still we pay much to obeying the authority. Okay.
Yeah, I have 3 siblings. I mean, sister. They are all girls. I'm the second one, and yeah, I have the only girl daughter. Okay, to me, and now in China, people now they can have 2 children. Yeah. But before that, we have the family planning policy, and our government hope that each pair they have 1 child. But now, yeah, you can have 2 children. It's a new policy.
Yeah,
yes.
It's a very good policy, but maybe it's good policy to the young people, right? I mean, maybe the 20, 30 years old, right?
Yes, I have a younger brother, and I have a boy and a girl. They're twins.
Yeah, she's very lucky. In fact, I think to enjoy the life here and just make friends with the local people, and to observe some classes, I think it is a very good way to know more about the American campus, American culture, and the people. I like it.
Hey there, welcome back to Hear Me Roar. I'm your host, Jordan Simonson, and today we're with Sean and Gabriella, our 2 relationship experts. We're talking about diversity and interracial couples. What's some of your experience on that?
I've been in a long-term interracial relationship for about 7 years or so now, but I haven't had any kind of negative experiences per se. The only thing I could say that I've actually experienced directly is just from outside spectators, you know, just the long stares, the, you know, long looks and the, you know, quick looks and things like that.
I think interracial relationships are actually like a growing opportunity where you can kind of broaden your horizons, that is romantically and with your friendships. So I do want to point that out, that interracial relationships such as like Sean and I, you know, me getting understanding of what it is to be Black is actually nice for me to grow as a person. But I think that being bicultural myself, like being Mexican American, allows me to be a little bit more flexible and open-minded. So personally, I've had really positive experiences with interracial relationships.
Very cool. Advice on how to handle some of that negative connotation you receive from outside family, parents, peers, and what do you have to say about that?
Well, usually I personally feel that it's important to practice really compassion and patience with your family and friends as well. And don't be afraid to kind of approach the subject, the fact that you are in an interracial relationship. Don't be scared of that fact. But it is one thing, it's hard to kind of change someone's mind with just words alone. So sometimes it's good to actually model, to show that you're in a good, healthy, productive relationship.
I think cultural traditions and customs and values are important to consider, especially when you're entering somebody that's really different than you are, because when you don't have an understanding or an openness, it kind of creates a lot of friction, a lot of problems. So entering a relationship with an open mind, like I've already said, and really curious about your partner and how you can kind of mediate some differences, I think is important.
This is also important to maintain respect between your partner, to be able to openly discuss your values, your point of view, your family history, and any kind of difficulties or issues that arise from your family. It's important to discuss those.
I know my grandma was really against it, whereas my mom's like kind of in the middle of it, and it doesn't affect me. Do you think there's a generational thing that gets involved? Or?
Oh, definitely.
Absolutely. I think that here I can kind of speak on my own experiences because my parents are not first-generation American. They're immigrants from Mexico. So they have a strong sense of being Mexican and how traditions and customs are really important for their daughters to uphold as well as their sons. So when I dated an Arab, it was a little bit of a friction because they were like, you know, how they didn't understand. So they would say a lot of like comments about, you know, oh, that's not okay, or, you know, he doesn't uphold the same traditions. And then when religion comes into play and language barriers, it's really hard. So I think it is generational, but at the same time, I think it's exposure to different cultures. You and I, we have, you know, we're college students, so we've been exposed to a variety of different people. I'm Mexican American, so it makes me a little bit more exposed to being kind of juggling two cultures. So it is generational, but I think it also is educational too, how much you've been exposed to people.
Are there any negative, we've talked a little bit about them, but the negative connotations on it and how we can remove those?
Yeah.
Well, usually most negative connotations kind of come from prejudices or presumptions or misconceptions about a type of person or religion or race or anything of that nature. So that's why, again, exposure is very, very important, and educating them along the way as well.
Yeah, I totally agree. I can't reinforce that enough. It's just a lot of the times the differences or discrepancies or the problems, it's not because somebody is like racist or like they don't like that culture because they're different, you know? It's more so because they don't know. It's a lack of understanding. They don't know the traditions. They don't know where they come from. So once they've been exposed to the, you know, the similarities between cultures and between races, I think it allows it to be more smoother.
And then we've talked about being exposed to new ideas and new worlds. What are some other positive reasons why interracial couples are a good thing?
Yeah, I think that being exposed and having interracial relationships kind of brings a richness to the self and development, in the sense that you become, it kind of broadens your understanding of different people, and it kind of makes you a little bit, I think, cooler. If that's a good
Abby, Sean, thank you so much for being on today's show, and we hope we see you next month again.
Yeah.
You're tuned in to Hear Me Roar. We'll be right back right after this. Hey there, welcome back to Hear Me Roar. I'm your host, Jordan Simonson, and we've been talking about diversity this week. Coming up next, we have a pre-produced show about being a man versus being the man. Stay tuned, there's more right after.
The man scores a lot of points. A man carries his team to victory. The man benches 400 pounds. A man can hold the weight of adversity. The man drives nice cars. A man finds a way to get somewhere worth being. The man would have 6 kids. A man will support a child that's not his. One thing about being a man is not about how well we do a job, but it's about how well we can do a job together to reach a common goal. You know, media portrays men as these big guys who can go out and do anything themselves, and that's just not true. And a real man is somebody who knows that he has to work together with people to accomplish something that he cannot do himself.
Hey there, welcome back to Hear Me Roar. Today we're here with Haley Clay. Thanks for being on the show, Haley.
Thanks for having me.
So now you're part of the Black Gospel Ensemble.
Yes, ma'am.
What is that?
Black Gospel Ensemble is a musical group here on campus. It's part of the music department, but it's open to all majors. And basically we are a worship group, kind of our own campus ministry, but we definitely do it in a different way than most of the other campus ministries. And we do that through music. So.
How'd you get involved?
I was a part of choir in high school, and we always came and visited for the Morehead State Choral Festival, which we do every fall. And I remember watching, you know, all the different choirs and Black Gospel Ensemble being one of them, and I was so excited, you know, to be a part of that. I knew at the time that I was going to attend Morehead, and I wasn't really sure where I was going to go or what I was going to do when I came here, but that definitely was a turning point for me to get involved and to become a part of BGE.
Very cool. We're talking about diversity this month. How does music help maybe close the gap of diversity?
I definitely think that music is a universal language. I know that sounds cliche, and that's something that, you know, everybody's probably heard before, but it really is. It can bring people of all cultures, of all races, of all languages together. I sing classical music, so I sing opera, and I'll sing in Italian, French, or German, and all of that comes together, but everybody hears it as music. And same with gospel music. In whatever way that you worship, you know the stories, and you know where you come from personally, and what touches you, you know, as a worshiper of Christ or whoever you worship. And I definitely think that music is a way to bring all people of all faiths and all races and religions together.
Now, in church, I remember reading like hymns out of the book and everything.
Mm-hmm.
How does that kind of singing differ from your singing?
It's definitely two different styles. So when you know more of that traditional type of kind of classical church music, I guess people would call it. It's very different from the culture that Black gospel comes from. And those originate from traditional slave hymns, most people call them, or Negro spirituals, or African American spirituals as they're called today. Those translate more into what Black Gospel Ensemble sings, because it does stem from that culture, and it stems from how they worship and the beauty that they find when they're worshiping Christ. So.
Now, when you sing, what kind of beauty comes to mind, or like the imagery you get, and how does it make you feel?
When I sing in Black Gospel Ensemble, it definitely puts me in a very meditative place. So I know personally, you know, my beliefs, and I was never really a super religious person. You know, my family went to church on Sundays, but as you grow older, you never really know where you want to go or what you want to do. But Black Gospel Ensemble, especially being a college student, kind of brings me back down to earth and lets me know, you know, that there is somebody there for me, and that there's somebody that, you know, I can call on him when I need him, and I know we all need him when it comes to being in college. And being in Black Gospel Ensemble and singing with them just puts me back into that meditative state and lets me realize that everything's going to be okay.
Now, in the beginning, you mentioned seeing the ensemble in the choral festival.
Mm-hmm.
Have you had a chance to sing in the festival?
I have.
How did that go?
This was my third year singing in the choral festival, and we have over 500 high school students that visit campus, and they sing over in Baird Music Hall for 2 days, and they learn their own music while watching us learn our own music, and then we get the chance to perform with them, and it's always such a great experience. It's a wonderful thing having come from the choral festival.
Mm-hmm.
You know, I know what that's like to be a student there. To being able to reach out to the younger students and the younger generation and let them know that Moorhead is a great school to come to, especially with the music department that we have.
Very cool. Now, if someone wants to get involved, how can they go about doing that?
Well, we are directed by Dr. Roosevelt Escalante, who is the associate professor of choral activities over in Baird Music Hall in the music department. We rehearse every Tuesday and Thursday from 6 to 8 p.m. and it's an open rehearsal. People of all majors and all faiths are welcome if you just want to come and worship with us and come and sing with us.
Now, is there a website or a Facebook someone can get it?
Definitely. www.moorheadstate.edu is just the school website /BGE.
Mm-hmm.
And you don't have to type in all the Black Gospel Ensemble, but if you just put BGE, we'll be the first to pop up.
Wonderful. So. Well, Haley, thank you so much for being on today's show and discussing all this.
Thank you.
You're tuned in to Hear Me Roar. Don't go anywhere. We'll be back right after this.
MSU is learning.
School spirit.
Teamwork.
MSU is Greek.
MSU is diverse.
Historical.
Beautiful.
MSU is educational.
Fitness.
It's hands-on.
MSU is the sound.
MSU is art.
MSU is potential.
MSU is much more.
What am I going to do? I've got a test tomorrow, an article to read, paper due.
Well, that just about does it for this month's episode of Hear Me Roar. We've been discussing diversity, and thank you so much for tuning in. I'd like to thank all of our guests who came on the show today, our Italian student Sylvia, a member of the Black Gospel Ensemble, Haley. We've had Gabriella and Sean, our regional relationship experts. And a big thank you to our producers who make this show possible and the wonderful crew who puts it on for you each and every month. And thank you once again for tuning in to this month's episode of Hear Me Roar. I'm Jordan Simonson. We're produced live from inside the studio halls of Breckenridge here on Moorhead State's University campus. I can't wait to see you next month for a much more exciting show. See you then, and don't miss a minute of Hear Me Roar.